Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. So apparently, the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, is still in the Twilight Zone because what he has made the accusation is that right-wing extremism is the cause of the ills and problems in his city. Yeah. He's blaming the right for the high crime and everything else that's happening negatively in the city of Chicago. He's blaming right-wing extremism on this. But I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. As far as I'm concerned, Brandon Johnson is the poster child of progressive Democrats. He is the poster child of that. But let's get right into this article and see exactly how he explains that the right or right-wing extremism is the problem in his city. Let's get right into this. He says, Democrat Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson blamed, quote, right-wing extremism for some of the ills facing his crime-ridden city. Johnson issued his statement about the, quote, far right during a press conference on Tuesday. Now listen to this man, okay? What we've seen here is a very raggedy form of right-wing extremism, the mayor says, and I'm trying to figure out what is a raggedy form. What is that supposed to mean? When I read that, I thought it was going to say Raggedy Ann. I mean, really, if this is what he actually said, I thought he was going to say Raggedy Ann. I mean, that lets me know that he's raggedy and not, anyway. Everyone knows that the right-wing extremism in this country has targeted democratically run cities, and quite frankly, they have been quite intentional about going after democratically ran cities that are led by people of color. So, now it's a race thing, right? The mayor even said that such, quote, right-wing extremists aim to create, quote, division and chaos because that is what that particular political party has been all about. Now, let me get this straight. See, let me put it to you like this. This is classic Marxism. Classic Marxism. The very thing that the Democratic Marxists are doing, Brandon Johnson and others, the very thing that they're blaming, rather, Republicans and conservatives of doing, they're doing themselves. This is called diversion. That's all they do, projection. They're projecting and diverging, their own evils on someone else. It's easy. It's easy to just say, hey, someone else is causing all these problems. It's really easy. It's really quite easy, right? It's weird. He says division and chaos because that is what that particular party has been all about. Now, you tell me, before I even go any further than this, you tell me how that any form of government, per se, on the right is purposely causing division and chaos. That sounds like the Marxists, isn't it? Hasn't it been Black Lives Matter and Antifa and other far left radical groups that have purposely been causing division and chaos in this country? Anyone with eyes to see would be able to understand that and recognize that, right? To blame this on right-wing extremists and on conservatives, basically is what he's doing, is just totally ludicrous. But let's go on, man, because I don't want to spend too much time elaborating on what he's saying right here, because I'm going to give you my full commentary after it. It is the same party that wouldn't accept that President Obama was actually American. He wasn't. That's been proven. It's the same Republican, or at least debated. Okay, let me correct that. At least debated. It's the same Republican right-wing extremism that stormed the Capitol. No. It's the same right-wing extremism that refuses to accept the results of the Civil War. It's raggedy. It's disrespectful. It's mean-spirited, he said. Let me get this aspect about it's the same right-wing extremism that refuses to accept the results of the Civil War. Now, what is he talking about here? Because last I checked, the South lost and the North won. This shows you how much of history that he knows, because now he's trying to go back into the results of the Civil War. Well, let's go all the way back to the results of the Civil War. What people fail to realize is that during that time, The Democrats held a stronghold in the South. Right now, the South is mostly filled with Republicans. But I'm not going to go into the detail of that right now. Okay. Back then, it was held by Democrats. Yes, there were slaveholders and Democrats in the North, but the stronghold of the Democratic Party was in the South, particularly during the Civil War. So his statement that they refuse to accept the results of the Civil War is stupid, because what I think he's doing is he's trying to say, hey, you people don't know all that went on during the Civil War, so I'm just going to utilize that part when there was supposedly a switch and the Republicans began to migrate to the South and the Democrats migrated to the North because they switched. I think he's alluding to the so-called Great Switch. There was no switch, but I'm not going to go into the detail of that in this video, okay, because I don't have the time for it. But he's using deception here, manipulation of words. No, sir. No, they're not. The so-called right-wing extremists are not refusing to accept the refusing to accept the results of the Civil War. No. The results of the Civil War was that the North won, and the South, the Democratic held states, for the most part, lost. We accept that. It's you guys that don't accept it because you can't tell the truth. If the truth, formed into a snake and bit you in your rectum, you would not be able to identify it as the truth. He goes on to say, it is abysmal and it is an affront to everyone that is good about this country, or everything rather that is good about this country, for the extremism in this country to use people as political tools to settle political scores for something that happened over 400 years ago. They're still mad that a black man is free in this country, he added. How can anyone believe this man? How can anyone believe everything that his party is doing? He's classic Democratic procedures, classic Democratic tactics, rather. Everything that they are doing, he's trying to blame on the Republicans and conservatives. This has been the case for many, many years, particularly ever since the 1960s. Ever since the 1960s, when Lyndon Johnson initiated the so-called Great Society welfare program thing, and most of the blacks migrated over to the Democratic Party because they felt at that time the Democratic Party was helping them, which to some extent during that time they were. But there was a tactic. There was a bigger picture in mind there, okay? But I'm not going to go into the detail of that. This is when all this nonsense started happening, okay? And to keep it short and sweet, the Democrats are masters at manipulating history and masters of projection. This is exactly what they're doing. Listen, let me read through this statement again. It is abysmal and it is an affront to everything that is good about this country, for the extremism in this country to use people as political tools. That sounds like something the progressive Democrats have been doing to settle political scores for something that has happened over 400 years ago. It's interesting because the Democrats are the ones that's constantly talking about something that happened 400 years ago. They're constantly saying that the reason why black people are having all these problems is because of slavery. The Democrats are the ones saying it. When are people going to see this? And here's the part that got me. They're still mad that a black man is free in this country. Let me get this. They're still mad that a black man is free in this country. My question is, what black man is he talking about? What black man is he talking about? Is he talking about himself? Is he talking about black men in general? The statement is they're still mad that a black man, singular, is free in this country. Is he talking about himself? Is he talking about Obama? Who is he talking about? No, they're not mad, man. They're not mad. But the progressive Democrats are mad that a lot of black people and black men are starting to switch on Biden. I'm seeing that more and more now. Yeah. The Democrats are mad at the black men that are switching from old man Biden. Let's go, Brandon. Okay. From old man Biden to Trump, although the mainstream media trying to switch that around. Okay. No, man. Come on now. Let's move on. Right-wing extremists were not the only scapegoats employed during the mayor's press conference. According to the Daily Mail, Johnson also blamed his predecessor, Democrat Mayor Laura Lightfoot, claiming that he inherited her mess. He says, Johnson also bashed, quote, right-wing extremists this past October, saying they had been captured. But this part I like. This is comical. Saying that they had been captured by an unclean spirit. Now he's using the Bible. That's what they love to do. They love to use the Bible. I'm not saying Republicans have to use the Bible, but these progressive Democrats are satanic, okay? You're in no position to use the Bible. But let's go on. The real disconnect is that when you have an unclean spirit that has captured the right-wing extremists in this country. Let me read that again. The real disconnect is that you have an unclean spirit that has captured the right-wing extremists in this country. And I call on them to dig deeper and lean on their faith. As Jesus, all these people disgust me. They are disgusting. He says, as Jesus said, who our neighbors really are. The one on the roadside. Those are our neighbors, Johnson said, end of quote. Okay, and end of article. What bothers me about this guy, one of the things that bother me rather is the fact that he's using the Bible, as a lot of these progressive Democrats tend to do, to justify his position. Okay, this whole idea of an unclean spirit has captured the Republican Party and captured the right. What evidence do you have, sir, that even remotely indicates that an unclean spirit has captured those on the right? I would argue that an unclean spirit has captured those on the left and has been a part of the left for many decades. Why do you ask? Well, what political party is pushing extreme sexual concepts on our young people in the schools? What political party is pushing transgenderism and homosexuality on our kids? I mean, right in their face. What political party is initiating acts of violence and assault against people that disagree with their worldview? We're not talking about defending. We're talking about initiating acts. Which political party is doing it? I would argue it's the left. So if the left is doing these things that are clearly negative, then which political party really has been invaded by an unclean spirit, sir? Your argument's stupid. It's not founded on basic facts, sir. And I wouldn't have the patience to argue with this man. I don't like arguing. I hate it. I hate it because I get angry, my heart starts racing, and I hate it. And I say things that I shouldn't say. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, this person, I'm not the smartest person. Everything that I know by the grace of God. To him, I give the glory. I'm still learning, people. But I hate when people just willfully deny facts right before their eyes. There are ways to find this out. There are ways to learn, and they willfully, purposely, for whatever crazy reason, reject that factual data, reject that way out. That ticks me off. And Brandon Johnson, as I said in the introduction of this video, is the poster child for the progressive Democrats. He's a poster child for them. This guy is still living in the Twilight Zone. He's still living in the Twilight Zone. Now, here's another thing. He blames also his predecessor, Laura Lightfoot, for the problems of his city. So which one is it? Is it Laura Lightfoot who's the problem, or is it the right-wing extremists? Which one is it? Is it one of the two or both? Which one is it, sir? And my question inevitably is, how can anyone in the city of Chicago support this man? I would say this. I would say, based on what I have seen, that a significant number of the residents in the city of Chicago do not support what he is doing in terms of not only the high crime rate, but all of this, these illegals coming to his city and causing all these problems. And I mean, I would say that the residents, the true native residents of his city, are not supporting him. Okay? And those that are supporting him, I'm sorry, but you blind, boo-boo. You are blind, and you need to wake up. That's just my opinion. This man is still in the Twilight Zone. He has not come out of that. He has not come out of that episode. The episode that he started in his Twilight Zone episode has been going on for a long time, and it has not ended. He has stepped through a portal. He has stepped through a portal into the Twilight Zone, and I think the door to that portal is shutting. It's getting smaller and smaller, and eventually it's going to shut completely, and he's not going to be able to get out. And everyone that's in the city of Chicago that are part of those electromagnetic frequency waves created in that portal and in that dimension, you are also going to be brainwashed just like he is. Yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Okay. Isn't that interesting? This shirt here I got years ago that was in reference to Joe Biden, but I ain't gonna go into detail to that. Y'all know what this is all about. But isn't it interesting? His name is Brandon Johnson. The irony, right? The irony. What do you guys think about this craziness, this retardation? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.